I seem to be cursed.
Hi, curselings. Today we're talking about this mad mama because Veronica has been going off the rails for quite a few months now. And because we have a lot of ground to cover as there has been quite a few updates. However, for this particular video, I want to address some things that Veronica has said in her recent live streams about her oldest son, Jax. But first, a quick recap. Now, as most of you know, Veronica's oldest child is transgender. And back in November, Veronica blocked her oldest, who now goes by Jax, because he would not allow her to continue using his old name or to refer to him as a she, her, as he identifies as male.
It actually really bothers me that she is being so incredibly petty like this because there's no reason for it. Literally all of this came from the fact that I said that I do expect respect from my mother and that I wanted her to use my preferred name because I changed it. She thought she didn't have to use it. So she blocked me when I said that yes you do, and said that, oh well, obviously you just don't want me in your life or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I kind of want people in my life who are going to respect me. And then next thing I knew, I was blocked. Now she's out here saying shit like this.
And for those wondering, Jax is 25. He's not a kid. He's an adult man with a child of his own, a house of his own, a loving relationship of his own. And if he wants to be called Jax, then he will be called Jax, because who fucking cares? It doesn't affect anyone except for him. It is not hard to be respectful. Well, you would think anyway. After Veronica blocked Jax, he did a live stream where he answered a bunch of questions about his mother, the current situation with his siblings, as well as the state of his mother's house. A house that he helped her buy, keep in mind. He also revealed that his stepdad, Marty, Veronica's current ex-husband that she is still legally married to, had never moved out, despite Veronica claiming otherwise.
Oh, did her ex really live in the basement? Well, yeah. He wasn't supposed to. Excuse me, I don't know what that was. He wasn't supposed to. He was supposed to move out, but...
Veronica's response to this was to attack Jax, telling her supporters that his house has bed bugs and that she wouldn't want her kids living with him, etc., etc., etc. It's also worth noting here that the split between Jax and his mother was still relatively fresh when this back and forth began. He was still very much grieving the loss of his mother in terms of being able to talk to her. So this accusation and false claim about him and the state of his home cut deeper than it might have now. So he made a video in response, revealing that Veronica had been aware of her ex-husband, Marty, sexually abusing him back in 2016.
Trigger warning for this next part, but she can't say that she doesn't want her kids living with bed bugs and roaches when she let a predator live there in her house for 8 years after finding out initially.
This confirmation of Marty's deviance was a blood-chilling revelation, as Marty was actually arrested in May 2024 for 3 counts of child SA, including 1 count of first-degree course of sexual misconduct, which is when an adult has engaged in sexual activities with a minor under the age of 13 for more than 3 months. It would also be soft confirmed and then later confirmed by Veronica herself that Jax wasn't the only victim of Marty's. There are others.
Once Donnie was done with his treatment, things started to change. The people that he hurt, his victims were finally willing to press charges. They were not, by the way.
In other words, for 8 years, Veronica was not only aware of Marty's sexual deviance and predation on her children and other children, but she also continued to have children with him.
I'd give you 7. We could shake and make it happen. 15. I'd do 8, 12, maybe 9, 10.
And she wouldn't officially leave him until the end of 2021, early 2022-ish, at least according to her social media, to her TikTok.
My recent ex, who fathered 10 of my children, is still an active part of their lives. He helps with a lot of things because I don't really have anyone else.
According to Veronica, she found out about Marty's subsequent victims after she had gotten pregnant with her youngest child.
The truth, what kind of person he actually is. I was already pregnant with my youngest and devastated, and then Donnie was diagnosed with cancer, and everything was just so scary, and I just didn't know what to do.
However, according to Jax, back in June 2024, when they were still talking, by the way, it was actually the knowledge of Marty's other victims that seemingly was the catalyst for Veronica ending the marriage.
So she has no room to talk about who or what she wants our kids living with, considering the fact that she knew about him for 8 years. And it was only the last 4 years that it actually really mattered.
Whatever it might have been, though, Veronica continued to allow Marty to live in her house until the end of 2024, despite telling her audience back in 2022 that he had actually moved out, got an apartment of his own, and could only see the children by way of supervised visits. Veronica also continued to use Marty for childcare while she went out and about on dates with various men, and when she took her children out on shopping trips or to restaurants, the beach, the carnival, etc. Often leaving her 3 youngest daughters home alone with Jax and her ex-husband Marty. In fact, in the summer of 2024, Veronica even publicly shamed her 3 youngest daughters for destroying their bedroom in what was clearly a blatant cry for attention.
Okay, do you guys know why I didn't bring you to the beach?
Yes.
Why did I not bring you to the beach?
Because we are messy. And because we don't really listen.
Where do you want to go?
I would say if we really wanted to do this, like a whole day, that's me and you.
Okay.
We could go, if there's enough time, we could go to the beach, if it's still summer.
In a 2025 TikTok, Veronica would reveal the location of this bedroom, which is on the ground floor just off of the kitchen and presumably the basement.
I mean, there's some dishes, but yesterday was Thanksgiving. Even the kids' room, it could be better, but it's not horrible.
Now, I know what you're thinking, and for the record, we do not have any knowledge of anything happening to those 3 little girls. And even if I did have that information, I would never confirm it in this video. However, I think that we can all agree that Veronica knowingly allowing her 3 daughters to sleep in such close proximity to her ex-husband, who she knew was a predator, says volumes.
We could walk to get ice cream. We could walk to the thrift store.
Walk to get ice cream. Oh, Dad once took me to a really fun ice cream place.
It is extremely alarming. And not only all of this, but Veronica also invited Marty to drive the entire family down to North Carolina for her second oldest son, Andrew's, graduation from Marines boot camp, where Marty also shared a large hotel suite with Veronica, the kids, and at least one of his victims, Jax.
This is like a freaking apartment.
Yeah, I'm currently in house. Thanks.
No?
Yeah, you got the bed.
But anyways, I was pretty sure that for tonight I was going to give the Victoria, Maddie, and Mara the pull-out couch.
So many alarm bells. Then, in January 2024, Veronica reveals in a somewhat vague TikTok that Marty is no longer allowed near her kids or in her house, and that it should have happened a really long time ago, but now it's official, he's not allowed to be there.
He came over because the children wanted to see him and he needed to be supervised with the kids. He shouldn't have even been given supervised visits because of how awful he was. And he thought that if he just played nice long enough, that all of his bad deeds would be forgiven. But his bad deeds have not been forgiven. In fact, they've just compounded. They've compounded so much so that he won't even be getting supervised visits with the kids anymore. He won't be getting any visits with the kids.
She was responding angrily to the frequent jabs that her so-called haters tended to make that Marty still lived in her basement.
My ex does not live in my basement. So you guys can stop saying, your ex that lives in the basement, because I know I didn't speak up on it before because I didn't want to give you guys that attention, but it's actually super disrespectful considering everything he put my family through. He doesn't live in my basement. I would never want to live with him ever again, and really I should never have lived with him in the first place.
Which Jax revealed to be the truth.
He wasn't supposed to. He was supposed to move out, but...
Veronica would later confirm in 2025 that in the new year of 2024, a protection order was taken out against Marty when her other children reported him for child SA.
He still swears he's innocent, but I don't talk to him anymore. We haven't talked since about January because once we made our police reports, there was a restraining order put in place back in January.
It's worth noting here that in that same live stream, Veronica insists that just because she knew about the sexual abuse didn't mean that she could do anything about it if her children were unwilling to make a report. It's not like she could make them report him.
Me knowing he did something doesn't mean I can do anything about it, by the way. I don't know if people know that. If his victims aren't willing to press charges.
Despite, the fact that Veronica is their legal guardian and is obligated to report any abuse she has knowledge of, as failure to do so is considered neglect under New York law.
And, kind of towards the end, before I found out about how horrible of a person he was, it was especially horrible because I had thought things were going really well, like we were actually getting along. I thought, wow, finally he's matured and we can be happy and things can be good. Things are finally looking up, and then to find out what he did was like, you gotta be kidding me. That can't be true. That's ridiculous. That's crazy. I didn't want to believe it.
But she couldn't do anything, right? It was out of her hands, right?
Me knowing he did something doesn't mean I can do anything about it, by the way. I don't know if people know that. If his victims aren't willing to press charges.
Whatever the case, in January 2025, Veronica starts to spiral out of control and begins to attack her oldest, Jax, including coldly claiming to have zero knowledge of the sexual abuse that Jax had experienced at the hands of his stepfather, Marty.
I do keep seeing things that say that my eldest child is saying things happened and that I knew about it, which is crazy because the thing is my kid is blocked, so I don't know what they're saying. But from the comments, that's what people are saying. I to this day don't have any knowledge of that.
And that if it is true that he was abused by Marty, that he should go to the police.
If those things are true, then she needs to press charges. But I think it's really odd to be hateful towards me when you're refusing to press charges on somebody for something like I don't know anything about it.
There's just one problem with Veronica's claim here. According to court records, Jax did report Marty in 2016. And according to a later live stream by Veronica, Jax was likely included in the report made against Marty by his siblings.
So finally his victims were ready to deal with it.
As Jax's initial report in 2016 is referenced by the active case against Marty as of 2024, which he is currently going through court for. In fact, Jax was quite upset to learn that his mother had publicly made this claim. Writing on Reddit, "She knows I did. She was there and talked to the police, doctors, and social workers in 2016 about my case, and I sacrificed so much to take it back when I didn't want to."
I told her at 16 what had been happening between him and I, and she cried about it as if he was her soulmate and that the kids were going to lose their dad and blah, blah, blah. Like, she believed me in a sense, and we did take it in the legal route.
Jax also explains that at the time of his report, a lot of the adults in the situation didn't actually believe him, or at least he didn't feel like they were taking him seriously, writing, "But no one was taking me seriously, not even our social worker, who labeled me as a quote-unquote paramour, a lover to a married man, as our fucking social worker."
It was half because I was lesbian, and for some reason, Marty had it in his sick fucking head that I don't know, like I was some kind of competition to him. Like that I was interested in Jax, that I was going to, I don't know, steal Jax away or something.
My mom saw that on her paperwork before I did, and when I saw it, I was like, oh.
But the fact that she made me feel like I was destroying the family while also saying, but yeah, you can totally, talk about it and take him to court or whatever.
And the doctors were so rude to me and treated me like I was inconveniencing them because I was nervous and there wasn't any quote-unquote traumatic physical damage. So my mom told herself he was innocent and cried about her soulmate, in addition to other things I was made to feel guilty about.
What had been happening between him and I, and she cried about it as if he was her soulmate and that the kids were going to lose their dad and blah, blah, blah.
And the whole situation made me feel so disgusting and angry with myself for attempting to ruin the family that I started telling myself that it wasn't as bad as it was.
Now you're putting me in a spot where I feel like if I go through with this, I'm ruining the family,
It was beyond traumatizing and humiliating to go through the legal process and telling those who were there to help me everything he did to me just for no one to take me seriously. And for years I shut down. I lost friends because I was so angry and lost that I couldn't see clearly anymore. I didn't trust myself. Every time I wanted him gone in recent years, she would get upset the kids were listening to me scream at him to leave. It got so exhausting that I stopped caring that he was even there and just did shit myself, like clean when necessary or take care of the newborns, etc. Her downplaying my part in wanting him gone after she turned her back on me is disgusting. Literally, one of the reasons I was, quote, dogging her before she blocked me is because I was feeling bitter about 2016, in addition to a list of other things more recent, and was telling her again that I was angry about it, and being met with her excuses of fucking course. Her outright denying it happened to me at all is infuriating. This broke me, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of my anger towards this mad mama is learning this stuff, is learning that she was not only aware of the abuse of her children in her home, but that she's just as awful to her children, that she doesn't care.
I don't care. I don't care if it's my mother, my child, my uncle, my grandmother. If someone is going to be mean to me and bully me and start a smear campaign against me and be hateful towards me and make up lies about me and just be completely awful to me, then they're getting cut out of my life. I don't have the energy for that shit.
She doesn't seem to understand how this stuff impacted her kids and just doesn't have empathy for them.
If those things are true, then she needs to press charges.
That makes me so angry. So angry. Especially knowing that Jax was parentified.
So once upon a time, this was my family. But at the time, I was working 11 to 17 hours a day. And so a lot of the work fell on my daughter because my ex was the stay-at-home dad and he kind of sucked. And I didn't want my daughter doing as much.
Especially knowing that he was basically used as her parental proxy. He deserves better. All of those kids deserve better. They deserve a mother who actually wants them around, who actually cares about them, and who will respect them and support them no matter what. Yeah. Anyway, Veronica has also periodically claimed that Jax is slandering her, spreading lies.
Sorry, if somebody started a whole smear campaign about you, spreading nasty lies about you, you would feel the same way.
And trying to ruin her reputation, all because she blocked him.
And a liar, and for slandering me and making shit up about me and trying to make people hate me and trying to ruin my reputation and turning everyone against me.
And because she refuses to quote unquote play the game, which is where she's respectful.
So basically, there are people that I love that have decided to twist things on purpose because they are mad that I'm not obeying the rules of the game that they decided to play. They're playing a game. I'm not playing that game. I have no interest in playing that game.
and I would like to be left alone regarding that game. And they insist that I have to play by the rules of it anyways. And because I wouldn't play by the rules of the game that I'm not even playing, they think that it's the right thing to do to hate on me and to lie about me and to smear me, because they've been told that anyone who doesn't play by the rules of the game is just a bad person. And I tried to explain to these people that I love so much. I'm like, I just don't want to play the game. Why do I need to follow the rules of your game that I'm not playing? Leave me alone. Just leave me alone.
All while intentionally misgendering him at any chance she gets, of course.
If she wants to be a liar, then that's whatever, but I'm not going to talk to her ever again. And it's actually really devastating to me. It breaks my heart that this is what she's decided to do with herself.
In fact, Veronica even went so far as to recently claim that Jax was to blame for allowing Marty back into the house while she was away at the hospital with her second youngest child, Dee, during his cancer treatments.
And like at this point, my ex and I were split up, by the way. But my oldest, I'd asked, to be in charge while I'm gone, and I guess didn't want that responsibility and let my ex come back to help take care of the kids, which I think is absolutely fucking crazy. So when I would come home, it would be constant like fighting, like, you can't be here, you have to leave. And he'd be like, well, I'm on the deed, I still own this house, I don't have to leave. And I'm like, yes, the fuck you do, you have to leave. And it'd be fucking crazy. And he'd be like, well, I could get joint custody of the kids. And I'm like, what the fuck? It was horrible.
Which is a totally unfair claim to make, and seems to have only been said to malign Jax and push blame off of herself. With Jax writing on Reddit, "It wasn't my job to make him leave after she didn't want me to out him for years, even before Dee's cancer. Also, I'd been pregnant, just given birth at that time, and was also caring for M, her newborn baby, when she was gone because she couldn't take him with her. I had a lot going on during that time. Her ex wasn't let back in because she never told him to leave, nor had the police been involved at that time. She told me it wasn't up to me to make him leave. She has no right to claim I was at fault for letting him back in. That coma must have really scrambled her memories." Veronica also tried to say that Jax was harassing her when she first got out of her coma.
I remember my oldest being so pissed at me because I didn't message her immediately after I woke up from my coma. Like, bitch, the fuck? I fucking couldn't figure out how to use my phone.
However, the gloves wouldn't really come off until Veronica's most recent live stream, where she attacked her oldest at every chance she got. Unfortunately, I missed this live stream, but thankfully the good folks over on Reddit archived parts of it, either by recapping it in written notes or in a handful of screen recordings. Some of Veronica's nastiness includes claiming that Jax didn't help her around the house and that he was greedy when it came to money, that Veronica thinks that Jax is schizophrenic just like her ex and therefore doesn't believe anything he says, which is extremely ableist and disgusting, that Jax has mental health problems and that he cannot survive on his own without his boyfriend.
And I really truly hope that her boyfriend never kicks her out because she's not functional. She's not capable of being on her own.
Who she hopes will never leave Jax because he's not welcome at her house ever again.
And she's not welcome back here, so.
And that Veronica wishes that she had put Jax up for adoption instead of keeping him, which is just low, downright low. Veronica also claimed that Jax isn't actually transgender, while still referring to him as she, her.
If she's truly transgender, then why am I the only person that has to call her a boy, but her boyfriend can still say girlfriend, and her daughter can still say mommy, and her siblings can still say sister? I'm the only one that she expects to say boy and son.
Because of course.
Do my siblings know about it? Yeah, my siblings know. My transitioning and name change, yes, they know.
And that he's a poser.
I'm just saying, it's just some people are so desperate to be part of a community that they'll just make shit up to pretend.
Even calling into question Jax's queerness, as apparently Veronica's more legitimately queer than he is because she made out with some girls on Halloween or something.
It doesn't make sense because, like I said, I am bisexual. She's just a poser, if you ask me, because she'll say she's bisexual, but she's never done a bisexual thing. She's been with one person, her boyfriend. I was making out with 2 girls on Halloween.
By the way, if kissing the same sex is a qualifier for queerness, then the world is a hell of a lot gayer than I originally thought, so... Also, that's not the flex you think it is, Veronica. It's not a competition. Also, you do not get to decide whether another human being's lived experience that is separate from your own sense or understanding is valid or not. You don't get to do that. You don't get to decide how someone identifies or what makes someone gay or not. Your sense of self is wholly unique to you, and no one, nowhere can change that, and anyone who tries should be strongly resisted at all costs. In other words, shut the fuck up, Veronica. Veronica also apparently brought up Jax's issues with motherhood and having a child, claiming that he didn't want to be a mother and might even be a bad mother, maybe. I'm not sure. To this, Jax would actually respond, elaborating more on Reddit by writing, I'm going to go ahead and say yes. For a hot second, I did have some ill feelings about motherhood because I was going through severe postpartum depression, postpartum rage, and postpartum anxiety. Also, I'm just going to interject here and say that I think it's very normal for first-time moms everywhere to have a lot of weird feelings about it. It is a massive change in your life, and full disclosure, I didn't like being a mom at first either. I had a lot of weird feelings because of postpartum as well, and there's no shame in that. It's what you do as your child grows. It's how you be a parent as your child grows. That's what matters. Jax continues writing, I was doing a good chunk alone because my boyfriend worked a lot for us to have food, formula, diapers for ourselves, etc. And after we moved out of my mom's house, it was even harder on me because I didn't have my siblings down the hall for emotional support. So I spiraled bad because my boyfriend was gone for a full week at a time working after we moved and was only home on weekends. I don't actually regret my kid at all, and I love her to death. My boyfriend has a different job and is home more and helps out, and my postpartum symptoms are gone, and my child is only 2. She turns 3 this year. I'd also like to point out that my mother promised she'd help me during the newborn baby phase, and she almost never did. She babysat maybe 3 or 4 times max. I begged her to babysit often because I was going insane from postpartum depression, rage, and anxiety, and neglecting my basic hygiene and sleep because of it. I had no choice but to pay my sister, M, to watch her for like an hour or 2 tops so I could get in the shower and take a nap because I was beyond exhausted and grungy. He then adds in parentheses, this didn't happen very often, by the way. Oftentimes I suffered by myself till my boyfriend was home because my mother would say, I'm busy, not right now, making TikToks literally right downstairs for me. And I'd vent to my mom when I was at my wit's end because of postpartum depression, rage, and anxiety, and she'd just ignore it or not really care. I got past the postpartum depression, rage, and anxiety a while ago. My daughter is loved and cared for. I'm glad to have her. She is a wild child, but she is my goofy girl. I also have a list of bullshit things my mother has said about her kids and her being a parent in recent years, so she has zero room to say that about me, knowing it was during postpartum. Also, I'm trans, so motherhood is already very different for me, and I hated the weight and expectations of quote-unquote motherhood as a woman. I don't overall hate being a parent as a trans person, though. It's more chill now. Imagine knowing your child is struggling with postpartum everything, and then just ignoring them, not helping them, because you're too busy making TikToks. I had my son during COVID, during lockdown, right at the beginning. The city was locked down. I had no help. It was just me and Mr. Kirsty, locked in a house with nothing. So I know what this is like, because I did it. I went through postpartum with no support. Outside of online support, of course, but no family, no one who could come and help. Because my family lives in a different province. We had to do it alone. Imagine having your mother in the same house as you and still being so fucking alone. I'd be angry too. I would have yelled at her too. Because I went through it alone. By no choice of my own, but because of the way the world was. All this to say that I feel a lot for Jax in so many ways. So, are we surprised? Not really. Why would Veronica care about her grandchild when she doesn't even care about her own kids when they were with her? And only now seems to care about them because she can use it as a way to farm for sympathy on the internet to make money.
And it's funny because I really didn't understand for a very long time that kids shouldn't see their mom being treated badly.
Anyway, after claiming that she had zero knowledge of Jax's abuse,
I to this day don't have any knowledge of that. If those things are true, then she needs to press charges.
Veronica leaned into a classic tactic used by narcissists all over, which is that she flipped the script, framing herself as the victim who had been thrown away by her oldest child.
I want people that say that they love me to actually mean it, and if they have an issue with me, compromise, come to me, we can talk. Don't just freaking throw me away, because if you can just throw me away, then you never actually loved me.
Despite the fact that Veronica had openly admitted to throwing him away for being a quote-unquote bully.
No, so I'm not throwing someone away for playing the game. I'm throwing someone away for being an asshole to me because I didn't follow the rules of their game.
So it's completely unsurprising that none of the things Veronica would say about Jax in her most recent live stream would stop her from also trying to use him to garner more, you guessed it, sympathy. Where Veronica decided to read an entry from the baby journal she kept after she had him, breaking down into tears as she did so because of course she did.
She has my eyes. Pushing is hard. Well, everyone got to see me. Asked if I breastfed. Everyone says she's perfect and beautiful.
By the way, in the live stream the week before this one, Veronica also broke down into tears because she said that she doesn't want to live anymore if she can't have her children with her.
I don't want to be alive if I can't have my family back together. Like, I don't want to be in this world without my family. So.
Of course, she didn't specify which children because apparently that only applies to some of them.
And she's not welcome back here, so.
So make of that what you will, but I'm leaning towards performance. This is all performance. This is all sad fishing. This is all manipulation. Because every live stream, especially from January to now, has been Veronica oscillating from hating her oldest and then crying about how everyone bullies her in every single goddamn live stream since Christmas. What Veronica fails to mention, though, in all of these, is that Jax isn't the only one of her children that she blocked. She also blocked one of her teens after they came out as non-binary.
She has me blocked too. I thought you blocked her. Her blocking you is crazy. That's insane. She said she wasn't gonna call me my preferred name because she isn't good with names. She's actually so good with names when she's the one who named you. What do you mean? Like, she's so weird. I'm not good with names, but I'm really strict on the names that I, like, no.
Fortunately, they are in foster care now and seem to be much happier for it. And that's really the crux of the issue. That the version of reality that Veronica is selling her audience on TikTok,
I want people that say that they love me to actually mean it, and if they have an issue with me, compromise, come to me, we can talk. Don't just freaking throw me away. Because if you can just throw me away, then you never actually loved me.
doesn't match with the reality her children are exposing, hence why she's spiraling out.
My mom knew about my name for a good minute. The pronoun thing is a little bit new. So that's why I wasn't too pressed on it with her. But she knew about my name for a good minute, and she thought that she just didn't have to use it. So
the truth is catching up with her. And in this particular story, Veronica isn't the victim. Not that that doesn't stop her from trying to frame herself as one anyway.
Or it's, why'd you stay? Well, I don't fucking know, Karen, because I couldn't fucking leave. I fucking tried, and you gave him joint custody. Anyways.
So when I would come home, it would be constant, like, fighting, like, you can't be here, you have to leave, and he'd be like, well, I'm on the deed, I still own this house, I don't have to leave, and I'm like, yes, the fuck you do, you have to leave, and it'd be fucking crazy, and he'd be like, well, I could get joint custody of the kids.
Fucking tried, and you gave him joint custody.
Like she did in this clip from her most recent live stream, where she railed about a love interest that got upset with her because she didn't acknowledge or behave respectfully when it came to their gender identity, which was non-binary.
But I don't know what it means when she's asking me. So I have no idea what it means when she's asking me. What are you asking me? What are you asking me?
So because I don't know what she's asking me, I didn't know how to answer the question. I thought that was really weird. Is it like not obvious that I'm a girl? Am I not presenting girl? Like, I don't understand. And apparently she doesn't consider herself a female. She considers herself they. And I was like, oh, well, never mind. I don't know what a they is. So I guess I'm not attracted to you anymore. I'm attracted to girls. My bad. But I didn't say that. But she got pissed at me. She got pissed at me and sat down and started ignoring me. I was like, damn, I thought we were going to be friends, but okay, my bad.
Even going so far as to equate their justifiably hurt feelings with quote unquote being hateful.
It's like people are so hateful for no reason. I can't answer a question if I don't know what the question is.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what happened. Could it just simply be that people can be upset with you and not be hateful, or a bully, or a liar, or vilified, or fashioned into a Judas, or called evil, or whatever other ridiculous hyperbolic language you need to use to justify your bad fucking behavior? People are allowed to get upset when you do things that are shitty, or offensive, or hurtful, or unfair, or unsupportive, or cruel, or whatever. Their reaction to your shitty behavior.
I just want to be my own person and have my own identity and my own name, and, you know, I just want you to respect me because, you know, you're my parent. And then they're just like, well, fuck you, I'm not gonna do that. And it's like, oh, awesome, sick.
Does not automatically mean that you are under attack.
So you're mad at me. You're mad at me and saying, well, because you won't say pop, you're hateful, and so you're garbage and we're gonna ruin your life. It's like, that's really mean, actually, because I say soda, and there's nothing wrong with the word soda. Soda doesn't hurt you. It's not mean. It's not offensive. It's not hate speech to say soda. But you're gonna bully me anyways and try to ruin my life. I've never done anything to you. I have no intention of doing anything to you.
I'm just saying, it's just some people are so desperate to be part of a community that they'll just make shit up to pretend.
And that they're bad people for standing up to your shittiness.
No, so I'm not throwing someone away for playing the game. I'm throwing someone away for being an asshole to me because I didn't follow the rules of their game.
Jax wasn't bullying Veronica because he demanded that his mother respect him. Full stop. After years of being mistreated by Veronica, by his mother, being parentified, used, ignored, gaslit, and abused, he stood his ground and set a boundary. And now, because of it, according to Veronica, he's a villain in this story.
And then one of my very best friends was like, you just gotta comply sometimes. You just gotta do it because they said so and it makes them happy. Like, why the fuck would I? Why would I obey somebody that went out of their way to hurt me when I never did anything to them? Why would I do that? Why would I care if it makes them happy? They don't care what makes me happy. They went out of their way to hurt me. Sorry, I'm just rambling right now. I guess my main point with all that is you treat people the way you want to be treated and don't be an asshole to people who aren't even bothering you. You're not a good person if you're going out of your way to hurt people. Even if you think it's justified because you don't like that person, you're still the asshole.
It doesn't make sense because, like I said, I am bisexual. She's just a poser, if you ask me, because she'll say she's bisexual, but she's never done a bisexual thing. She's been with one person, her boyfriend.
But that's not what I see. There is only one villain in this story, and it is not Jax.
I was making out with 2 girls on Halloween.
A good parent protects their child, listens to their child, respects their child, supports their child, lifts up their child, loves their child, no matter how they feel about being a parent, no matter how hard it can be sometimes. And until Veronica understands this, that her relationships with her children are not transactional, nor based on any uneven power dynamics that she can then abuse, she is not a parent. She was, at best, an incubator, and a piss-poor one at that. Anyway, that's it for me. I want to thank everyone for liking, commenting, and subscribing with a big thank you to my mods and members. As always, you guys are rad, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!